Good morning, Magic players! Collectors of all kinds! Woke up from my nap as my father was stepping out the door, and figured, you know what? We haven't had a chance to do this in a long time, and we might not get a chance to do it again in the remainder of the series. So, while we're, Kaiba, your bum is like right in the video. So, while I have the chance to do it, I figured we would film this episode a day early, but with Kaiba. So, it's time for Dollarama Draws of Destiny! Yes, Kaiba. Kaiba has decided on the 2 packs for today. Out of the remaining 12, he thinks that these are the 2 of the better ones. So he thinks that you guys are going to get a Pawesome episode while he sits here and munches his treats in his spot. So you guys get to look at that while I rip the packs. If everything balances out the way I'm hoping it does. Stay on my leg. Thank you. I will rip pack 1. And I will sort it before I bring you guys back over to me. Since I'm not going to use the camera stand today, I'm just going to hold onto it. Alright. Card 1. Inspired Charge. 2 and 2 white. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn at instant speed. Yeah, that's not bad. Next up. Giant Warrior Ally. 3 and 2 red for a 4/4 with Menace. I mean, it probably will get some cool other abilities if you play it in an ally deck, but I'm not sure if I'm going to add that one. Beetle 4 Mage. 1, a green, and a blue. 2/2, pay green and blue, and it gets +2/+2 and gains flying until end of turn. You can only do that once per turn, but still, that's not bad. Human Insect Wizard. The creature types on the cards today are interesting. Giant Warrior Ally, Human Insect Wizard. Tithling Warlock. Okay, 3 and a black. For 2/2 with lifelink. When When Passageway Seer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Ooh, nice. At the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative, put a +1/+1 counter on Passageway Seer. That is definitely a huge hit for us. That was a good call, Kaiba. This has been a solid pack so far. 1 and a white for Ritual of Hope. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn at instant speed. If you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, they get +2/+1 instead. Ooh, cool. The black card is definitely the best one so far with the initiative, though. That is definitely the hit of the day right now. Oop, I accidentally put 2 down by mistake. We've skipped this guy. Goblin Death Raiders. Black and red for a 3/1 with Trample. You guys know me, I prefer a 1/3 over a 3/1, but I'll take it. Yes, you're a good baby. I make these videos and then we'll go down and have the lunch, okay? Unexpectedly Absent. X and 2 white. Put target non-land permanent into its owner's library just beneath the top X cards of that library. That's mean. I like that. The black one's still the better card. The Tithling Warlock is still the best card, but that was pretty funny. I like that. Ooh, another copy of Land of War Elves. Never gonna say no to that. Best mana dork out there. Well, one of the best. Call to Glory. For 1 and a white, untap all creatures you control. Samurai you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. I mean, that's just insanely good even outside of a Samurai deck. Just to be able to untap all your creatures for 1 and a white at instant speed. Rancid Rats. Skulk and Death Touch for a zombie rat, 1 and a black, 1/1. I'll take that. I think I have that already, but I'm not sure. I haven't started building that rat deck yet. What in the world are you? I think we officially just got our first ever different language card. So, throwing this out there, I'm thinking that this is definitely... I don't know. I'm going to apologize in advance if I get this wrong, but I think that's some sort of like Eastern European. So if there's anybody out there who can help me out with that, I would love to know what this card is and what it does. Maybe I'll try and search the art later. But that is the first time we've ever actually had that happen on this channel, I think. Ooh, we got a legendary! Barrowin of Clan Undur. 2 white and black. Dwarf Cleric, 3/3. Enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Nice. When it attacks, return up to 1 creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield if you've completed a dungeon. Ooh, that is insanely good! And that fits into my dungeon deck colors. So that is definitely... Wow. What a pack today. Good pick, Kaiba. Plummet. Although that's probably the nicest artwork I've ever seen on this card. I kind of like that artwork. Who did this? Oop. Focus. Okay, I'll read it off the screen. Siddharth Chaturvedi. I'm sorry, I butchered your last name. But that is some cool Plummet art. I will give you that. Ooh, a Whirler Rogue. Not going to say no to that. That's always a good card to pull. And... Irresistible Prey. Target creature must be blocked this turn if able. Draw a card. For 1 green? I mean, it's sorcery speed, but still, that's not bad. So we got a random language card. A really cool legendary that I hadn't pulled before. And 3 cards that I would say are really good hits. Whirler Rogue, The Unexpected Absence, and Passageway Seer. We got some really good stuff in here too, don't get me wrong. Inspired Charge is a nice one. I'm pretty happy with the untapping spell, but... Alright. That's pack 1, done. I'm just gonna organize this stuff on my lap here. And then we will rip pack number 2. Please remember that for those of you who are curious or who are thinking that, who are worried about finances and such, I've already bought all these packs in advance, like a month or so ago. I've been like collecting them for a while now. I've always kept the pile in my drawer kind of somewhat full. And the reason for that is because I was always worried that they might, run out at a time when I'm out of them. Ironically. So I have all these back packs in my drawer. There's still 10 more of these after today. And unfortunately, you can't take them back to the Dollarama. If you're not Canadian, you might not know this, but for those of us who live here, Dollarama will not take back anything that you buy from them, ever. So, yeah. So we're going to have to rip these anyways. So we're going to just, like I said last week, we're going to keep doing 2 packs per week. So there will be 5 more episodes after this week's episode. And then we will be done Dollarama Draws a Destiny. My plan is to eventually have 1 to 100 replace Dollarama Draws a Destiny on the channel. And probably have the Pokemon show take over on Thursdays. And then Monday and Friday I'm going to do episodes of Hall of Legends if I get a chance to get that off the ground. I want to make a start clip for that today, but I have to get it done today because I have access to CapCut like full for like a very limited time for some reason. They gave it to me, and they want me to start paying for it tomorrow, and it's like, there's no way I'm paying for that. So, anyways, first card of this pack is Last Breath. Remove target creature with power 2 or less from the game. Its controller gains 4 life. I mean, if you're desperate enough, you could get that on yourself, but otherwise, you're giving your opponent 4 life. I'm not always fond of that. That's actually slightly worse than Swords at Plowshare. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. Damn! I think I already have that in my enchantment deck, but that is definitely a solid pull for another deck that has enchantments. Maelstrom Colossus. 8 for 7/7 with Cascade. I mean, no matter what the heck you pull off the top, chances are you're going to get to play it. That's pretty good. I'm not sure if that might be the hit of the pack so far, I think. Well, no, I think the Ethereal Armor's got that. Naturalize. 1 and a green to destroy an artifact or enchantment. I like the artwork on this one. The idols of old are rich in minerals and magic. They are torn apart when nature aims to eat well. Ooh, I thought it was a Planeswalker at first for a moment. We've pulled this guy a few times. He's a decent card. I'm not saying he's not, but not my favorite one. Of all the level up cards, there are definitely a lot better. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Legendary Planeswalker, ladies and gentlemen. Dovin, Grand Arbiter. 1, a white and a blue. Loyalty 3. Until end of turn, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a loyalty counter on this thing. Ooh. So you could +1 it and, like, boost it by, like, 3 if you hit everybody. Create a colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying and you gain 1 life. Look at the top 10 cards of your library, put 3 of them into your hand and the rest of them bottom of your library in a random order. I mean, its ultimate kind of sucks, but those first 2 are pretty solid. I mean, even, you know what? If you do the first one a couple times, you could probably do the ultimate and keep it on the field. That's not terrible, I suppose, overall. Structural Collapse. 5 and a red. Target creature sacrifices an artifact and a land. And then this thing deals 2 damage to them. That is disgustingly cruel. Totally Lost. 4 and a blue. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. Last two hits kind of suck, to be honest, for their mana costs. 6 and 5, respectively, for what they do. I mean, the one that destroys the land, I suppose, is good, but you don't get to pick. It's a sacrifice, so. 1 white for a 0/3 with Defender. Pride Guardian blocks, you gain 3 life. Cat Monk. I'm not sure if that'll make it into my Cat's deck or not, but that's a cool card. Blighted Gorge. Tap to add colorless to your mana pool. Pay 4 and a red, tap, sacrifice this thing, and it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. The land is dying, but it will not go peacefully. Okay, the flavor text sells me on it. I kind of like that. But I don't think it's the best land ever by any means. Rot Farm Skeleton. 2 black and green for a 4/1. Ew. It can't block. Well, I mean, if it's a 4/1, I'm probably not going to try and block with it anyways. 2 green and black. Put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. Return this thing from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is like one of the worst cards. I mean, I suppose in the right deck that likes to mill itself or descend or whatever, that's not horrific, but point of discussion. 2 and a black. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, get a blood token. I've always been a fan of that card. You get a lot of value for that one, I find. Careless Celebrant. 1 and a red for a Satyr Shaman. When it dies, it deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. It's a 2/1. Triumphant Surge. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, you gain 3 life. See, now that's the way it should go. I destroy the creature and I get the life. Bag of Holding 1. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. Ew. Pay 2 and tap. Draw a card, then discard a card. Pay 4 and tap. Sacrifice this thing, return all cards exiled with this thing to their owner's hand. Huh. It's an interesting little card. You can get back everything you got rid of at like a very opportune time, but it costs 4 to pull it off, which means unless you're doing a deck that has a lot of mana, your chances are pretty slim of actually playing too many of those cards, so you better have like an empty hand at the time that you pull it off, I would say. Still a cool card, though. I don't know. Ethereal Armor? Planeswalker's pretty neat, but I think it's Ethereal Armor, and it's got to take that one. Nevertheless, though, I think the first pack was still probably better than the second, but you definitely did some good picks, Kaiba. You did a good job today. Bravo! You having a Yito nap? Celebrating your victory? Are you hungry for lunch? Much love to you all. From Kaiba the Pug and myself to you. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye!